Hit it.
All right. We're recording.
Hello.
Hi. Well, maybe we should say our names if these are. No, I don't think so. Never mind. I'm Katie. Anyway. Maybe we'll have new people watching this, so
It's true.
sort us out. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we all have our names written on the bottom of our
that's
screens.
true.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it shows up in the video that way or not, though. So I'm Shannon.
I'm Saskia. And that's
So
it.
We're just doing like a raw conversation to see what happens. So the topic I really wanted to talk to you guys about anyway, just in general, I thought would be a good topic for today. And that is, so I'm not really on Instagram, but I created an account earlier so I could watch our live feed thing that we did when we started this. So now I just troll other people's accounts and never post anything myself because I only have it on my computer and you're not even allowed to post from your computer. So it's like I'm like 95 years old. But anyway, so I noticed via Instagram that you Shannon were at the farmers market opening this weekend, and I physically saw you there, Saskia. So I also was there, but I was sitting in my car, willing myself to get out of the car and go. And finally I did, with my like N95 mask on, covered in a fabric mask so I didn't look like a freak that I am. Contagion freak fear. And I sort of like walked the periphery, and Saskia, I admittedly watched you for like 5 minutes, like maybe I'll go over there. I don't know. And I didn't, in the end, I didn't, because you were like talking to somebody and then whatever. And then you started playing anyway. So then what happened is I went back to my car and I sat there a little bit longer. And then like I took a picture of everybody else at the farmer's market, and I took a picture of my mask. And then Jordan had the kids all day, so I like generally weekends I have more time to myself to write and stuff. So anyway, then I went off. Then I went off and wrote an essay about going to the farmer's market but not being able to go to the farmer's market because of my own fears and my inability to. I'm not quite there yet, and yet I finally reached a point where I want to be there. Like pretty much all winter I've been kind of like, it's fine. Like I'd rather be in my little cave anyway, making cookies and eating cookies and whatever. This is fine. But this Saturday, I'm like lately feeling the yearning to see human beings in the flesh and to interact normally, whatever it takes, kind of. So, but I was like kind of trapped in my car, not panicking or anything, but like observing, kind of gently observing my own responses and sort of whatever. So then I went back and I wrote this essay about this shoulder season, this time where we have to make these sort of like cost benefit analysis like all the time. Like, is this risk worth it? Like, should I just wait till I'm at least vaccinated once over? But what do I need right now? Like, is this truly safe? I want it to be safe. The government says it's safe. And then at the meantime, there's like policemen patrolling the area just to make sure everything's okay. So it's a very surreal post-apocalyptic scenario that we've all been envisioning anyway. And now it's like here. And so what I wanted to connect with you guys about was, especially after I saw, like, Saskia, you posted that you had my first gig outside or whatever. And then Shannon, you like mentioned something about being there. And I thought, like, I knew it was more than just wanting to go out. It's like the farmer's market first day, I was sitting there. It's not just there were people there. It's just that I knew that like 100 meters away from me were a whole bunch of people that I know and love, like in the same place, that all I would have to do is walk a few feet and I would see all these people that I haven't seen. And it was like terrifying, overwhelming, and exciting. And so, out of it for me naturally came an essay that hopefully will be published, maybe not. I sent it to a place that sometimes publishes my stuff. Saskia, you were performing music, like you loved to perform and you were doing your thing. Shannon, you were a musician walking around or maybe performing, I don't know, buying fiddleheads. I don't know what you were doing, but you were there and we were all like in this springtime mode where there's so much fertility and so much creativity. And yet we're all three of us are like in this area, like maybe we can feel each other's energy and yeah, unable to create together or connect. So anyway, that's what I wanted to put forth, like what we're thinking about.
I would have loved to have seen you, Katie. And it's okay that you didn't, but yeah, because there were people on the periphery behind me watching me. I didn't see you, but I saw quite a few people there just hanging or with their kids or, yeah, that's crazy. And Shannon took the video.
I did.
You did it.
I went there and I'll actually say, Katie, it's funny that this is what you brought up because I woke up on Saturday morning and realized, like, I'd been noticing, of course, that this would be the first day of the farmers market, and living quite a ways out of town as I do, I don't go to the farmers market every week. I like it, but I don't go every week. It's quite a distance drive. I guess it is for both of you as well. But I woke up on Saturday morning and was like, I can go to the farmers market, and it's just all those things you just said. Oh my God. And Saskia and Stefan are playing. I can hear music made by real people in person. And I actually, funnily enough, now I'm thinking maybe this will be the song I post this month. I wrote a song. I sat there that morning and wrote a song about going to the farmers market before I went because I was so excited. And it's like this silly little ditty, but it made me cry, even though it's not a sad song, just because I was so excited. So I was with you, Katie. I was like so excited to see other people and to do something that felt so like, it always makes me happy. The farmers market is just this lovely, casual way to spend a Saturday morning. And then, yeah, my daughter and I went all masked up and did our thing and stood and watched Saskia and Stefan play. And my daughter got their CD. And that was like everything you could get. Oh my God, we can get maple sugar with sea salt in it. Oh, we can get a fresh loaf of bread. Oh, we can get, like, it was all these exciting things that I'm not always excited enough about, and now I'm like over the moon excited about them. Already excited for this Saturday.
Yeah, me too. Wow. Do you know, it's really strange because I've been psyching myself up all week to go and play because I was worried and nervous, and because it was not just the first outdoor gig, the first gig since Christmas Eve. And so when I got up, I was almost late because I was faffing around. Have I got this and have I got that, and oh, I've forgotten this, and you know, that kind of squirrel thing that some of us do. and it was just such a joyful thing to see. I was so happy to see you. I didn't recognize you at first, Shannon, because of your mask, and then you spoke and I went, oh, it's Shannon.
Plus, I wore a dress. That's how excited.
Yes, yes.
I had on like colorful tights because I bought these bright yellow, like mustard yellow tights like 2 months ago. But nobody ever sees your legs on Zoom, so I've had no reason to. I was like, I'm going in where people are, and people will see my legs. I can wear my bright yellow tights. Like, I was excited. It was no joke for me. And I have been somebody, not to the point of you, Katie, but very, like, I live out in the middle of nowhere and I follow the rules, and my kids are home. Like, I'm not cautious. It's not that I am not, but I'm with you. I'm ready. Like, when it's safe, I'm ready. I'm mentally ready. I want to see people. I want to be there. Driving up and seeing that many people in one space was weird. My brain did a double take.
Yeah.
It was like, oh no, this is fine. Like, this is fine, because of the fact that it's so well organized and like you're rooted around it and you're in a mask and you're outside and all those things. So I felt safe, but I did have that mental reaction of like,
that's a lot of people in one place.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Do you know what was lovely though is coming home with really good cheese. That was the highlight for me. It wasn't the 2.5 hours of playing, which I had to sleep for 3 hours afterwards because I don't have the stamina anymore. I just came home and slept. I was so exhausted. But it was it's having that really good cheese from the cheese stall opposite.
Had a nap and a big slab of cheese. That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Saskia, I
Yeah.
was thinking too, I've started to have some like desire to do online little mini shows again. I did a little Friday hangout on Facebook Live that was an internet disaster for me because of my terrible internet, but it was super fun once we got it sorted out. And I've been months and months and months and months. I've been basically the whole pandemic not wanting to do that stuff. Like I just don't have any interest, and I'm feeling interest again. And I think it's because I want to be able to play when I'm allowed. I want to be able to do something once I'm able to be out in the world. And I'm not a skilled guitarist. I'm learning, and I'm not a super skilled pianist. So I need to get some practice. I need to get back in front of people, even if it's just online. And so I've noticed that in myself, that I have this drive, and it's so that I can have the kind of events that I'm imagining in my head, that I've come up with as this is what I want to do once we're allowed. And I can't be showing up like, well, I haven't played in 2 years. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
yeah.
weird one.
So do you guys feel like Shannon, you said, you ended up writing a song about going to the farmer's market on Saturday, and I ended up writing an essay about trying to go to the farmer's market. and Saskia, you put your all into your performance, and it was exhausting, probably more than just because you're performing, but because of all of the emotional energy that goes into the first of anything, right? Like
Totally.
so I wonder what you guys think about the impact, not of the pandemic generally, but of this specific moment in time on your creativity or whatever. Take it, or your desire to engage in something like that, or
I'm struggling to be creative right now. I'm struggling to like there's to slot myself time for it, and to like dive into just letting my brain play and sitting with the guitar. And it's but I am wanting to get ready to perform. So like it's weird because my creative, I've been doing a lot of writing all year, and which I'm loving. And I haven't had to worry about being ready to perform for anything. So I haven't done a lot of like practicing, except guitar, like just learning how to play. And now I'm kind of like trying to take those songs that I wrote and actually make sure I know how to play them so that I can play them for people, because I want to be able to do that. And also, Katie, I know you're living this world. Like my kids are home all day, every day right now, and they're not happy about it. And they need a lot of support just to not be miserable. Right. So I spend a lot of mental energy on that too, making sure like every time I finish, like when we finish here, I'm going to get up and go check and see if they're doing okay, if they need anything, how it's going, whether they have any questions, like just keep doing that. So I am not feeling a lot of like mental space right now to create much of anything.
Yeah. It's not just, I'm so grateful that my kids are big and two of them have left home, and I'm only worried about one. And because she's 17, she's largely independent, and she flips between here and her boyfriend's house. But it's yeah, there's that bit, but just creatively, it's tough because I know I keep having these things. I should be making something. I should be writing some music. I should be doing X, Y, and Z. But but I think, okay, I don't really feel like it, so I go and practice. Practicing is good. It's practical. It's solid. I can do it without having to think too much. So that on top of having young children, yeah, my heart goes out to you both. It really does. Yeah. But it was really nice to be out in and give people music again. It's like, oh yeah, this is kind of validating. Oh, this is actually who I am, and this is what I'm about. I remember, because all those little self-doubts creep in, and well, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe it's not. you know, what I'm doing is not worth it. Maybe I should do something else and get a real job. All those shouldn't call it a real job, a standard job. All those things kind of, you know, and they hang around here and I have to keep pushing them away, and they encroach a little bit more every week and I push them away. And so something like the market, I suddenly feel really emotional actually. Um, something, yeah, the market was really validating for me. It's like, oh yeah, I actually am good enough, and people really appreciate what I'm doing, and that was not just evident from what people put in my case, but also from people standing around and listening, and the clapping, and the few people danced, and people just coming up saying, "Wow, this is so lovely, thank you,"
Yes.
and all those things. You know, it's like, okay, this is good. This is good. Yeah,
You
it was necessary.
I didn't. I texted Saskia afterwards, Katie, but I was being like 100% just completely honest. Like I was like, you made my day, and my daughter and I have your CD unwrapped, and we're listening to your music. It's just like pouring through our house while we, and it's the first. Like I've been listening to music throughout the pandemic, but it was like this happened live, and now we're listening to it in our home, and I haven't felt that for months and months and months and months and months and months. And I don't think I was not like at probably the stage of life I'm in and where we live, I was not like a huge live music concert goer these last several years. Prior to having kids, of course, you go out all the time. But now I'm like, wow, I hope that I don't ever forget how like how different it feels to just get to go be in the presence of just music happening, you know? Like I'm really, really excited for more of that, whether I'm making it or just enjoying somebody else creating.
Yeah, and Saskia, you almost made me cry. Like I don't even know. Like I was gonna text you too, but I was kind of too overwhelmed. Like I didn't really know where to begin. Also, like, hey, I saw you, but I didn't see you. But
I'm just creeping you.
yeah, like, hey, I kind of felt like, but I think there's something that we're touching on here that is like incredibly difficult to articulate, and it's the thing that's moving us emotionally at this moment, and it touches on the point that you're talking about, Saskia, about like, oh, maybe I should just get a real job. Maybe, I mean, I think those things all the time, and I also think about all the different ways, like things I see, and I'm talking like specifically in our area, like Northumberland, but everywhere, where it's like almost like a buildup of tension, like all these, and it's a good thing, like all these artists and people who are creating things are just like, I need to do this, get it out. And I think that's really wonderful. And I also, from however far away from you I was like having a moment. Um, when I was in high school, I used to follow this band, which maybe some people thought was dorky because it was like a guy that I went to school with. It was his parents' band. So they were probably like in their 40s and 50s, but I thought they were
Oh, old then.
amazing. Yeah, like me now, but I was a teenager, like, so I'm Julia in this situation, like Shan's daughter, and they were called, they still exist, Song of the Lakes, and they did like Celtic folk. Like when I first heard your music, like before I ever met you, it reminded me of home because it reminded me of that band, and
Sweet.
they were like the first band I used to go around. They didn't know I was always there because but they didn't know like what an impact they had on me. And for me, they're like the music of my hometown. And so seeing you at the farmers market, even from so far away, it was really and hearing you was very emotionally moving for me. And I think it's a tragedy that we currently live in an epoch where artists are not like paid for their work properly so that they don't have to think about all that other stuff. But regardless of that, I just want to say like what you're doing matters. From there's like something energy. I mean, I don't want to sound woo woo or whatever, but like even from hundreds of
Woo is
feet
good.
away,
Yeah, heaven forbid you stop.
you're altering the energetic patterns of my body as I'm sitting there freaking out, wanting to go in there, even though I didn't go in and I didn't see your faces and see the faces of other people that I know there, I still felt your music. I'm gonna cry. And
Now I'm crying.
and that is something really special. It's like a power. It's like your superpower. Because you don't have to be, I didn't have to be right next to you. You didn't even know I was there. Sorry, jeez. But you didn't know I was there, and yet you were able to communicate.
Wow. Woo woo. Woo woo.
Here.
Yeah.
Think about this for a minute. I'll high five my books like I usually do. Metaphorically.
Wow.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Wow. Thank you for that. That was it's that yeah. Yeah. Words.
I think, I don't know if you already, the two of you already did recognize this, but I think I didn't recognize that this shoulder season, as you put it, Katie, would be a place where all of that like grieving we've been doing would come out, because that's what a lot of this feels like right now, is like we've been grieving quietly for more than a year. And like I know most artists have been doing it quietly because we know we're not the only affected ones, but I also know that sometimes I've had conversations with like my husband and people who are, I can say this, where I said like, I know I'm fine, but nothing I do is the same. I none of the things that I do I can do right now. I can't be a singer, I can't be an educator, I can't do any of the things I do. So it is hard, you know, in that way, and in a way that I still have food on the table and a roof over my head. So you do it quietly, right? But I think now, because of these little, like you said, this joy that bubbles up in you when you hear, and it's not just joy, but you know, I had an extremely joyful reaction to hearing Saskia and Stefan. It kind of like pushes the grief up out too, right? Like it's just sort of like, oh, you know, and everything, you just, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I didn't realize that would be happening now. I thought the joy would just sort of wash over and help smooth it away, but instead it's kind of like, whoa, here it all is.
Exploding. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting what you just said about it's this quiet, you know, we all do it quietly because you're not the only one suffering. But but in my head is, and I know this is happening to so many other people, especially artists and musicians, what's going to happen as well when the world reopens? It's that well, there was the am I good enough to be gigging, because I haven't gigged for so long, so I'm out of practice with that. But there's also the are there going to be the places to play? Are people going to book me, or is it only going to be the top few who are the big names who are going to get the gigs, and everybody else is just going to disappear, you know, wash away with the tide? Who knows? There's all these things that I'm trying not to be worried about, but I'm worried about. Yeah. And can I play with other musicians again? Because I'm lucky I live with two musicians, so I get to play with others. But so many of my peers are not, they can't play with anybody else because they're by themselves. So that takes practice, being that intuition of playing with other people and meeting them, their energy, you know, that exchange of energy, that takes practice. You can't just walk in somewhere unless you're two really aligned people that click, which does happen, but that's such a rare thing. It's going to be so odd.
It really is.
Yeah, and I think what you said, just that's really interesting how you said that, because I mean, I know we use that word play, you're playing an instrument, but I think I've been thinking like that was my goal in January this year of 2021, is like play more, just play, like adopt that spirit in my life more. And I think a lot, especially about my 4-year-old daughter, who really in her lifetime hasn't actually played a lot with other children her age. She has her 9-year-old brother, but that dynamic, like I always think, man, like she just needs to have just to do 4-year-old things. But I think that there's something, I don't know why, maybe it's because I'm reading this book right now, energetically about that idea of play that is the same across time, you know, like whether you're a 4-year-old learning for the first time, like what play means, and you need someone to bounce that off of in order to like feel that within yourself. And in the same way that a musician might do that, or like I've been talking a lot about Eminem. I know, Saskia, that you have that book on Eminem, I think, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I think he's great. Yeah.
I have a lot of feelings about Eminem, and I remember when I first saw 8 Mile when it came out, and we were like at our friend's house or whatever, and then she and I just like went into like a like a poetry battle or whatever, and it was so cathartic to do that. And that's play, right? Yeah, you can laugh, Shannon. I can see you holding, but like
I love Eminem. I could like top to bottom sing several of his songs, no problem. So
maybe invite him on one time.
I think this is the top.
I think so. I think so. Sorry, I'm just looking for a charger. I didn't charge up my computer. Oh. Sorry, carry on.
But I mean, there's something about that I think we're all in our own ways like discovering that interchange between humans. And
yeah.
You use the word remember, one of you did. It's like remembering how to do that. And I think that will last, like that will define our lifetimes. You know, I really do. Like, and we've learned things, and we've unlearned things, and we're going to learn new things, and that's all good. But just remembering how to be with other people and to make something, whether it's a song or like a mud pie for a kid or a classic rap battle. You know,
I got you with that one. We can do that.
Just say I'm busy that day, okay?
We will not be videotaping that. Nobody wants to see 2 white girls from Hamilton Town. I know you're not from here, Katie.
Yeah.
I actually was born pretty close to 8 Mile, so
exactly. You're different.
A little bit of cred. Ann Arbor, you know.
That's
Nobody
funny.
has ever said Ann Arbor and cred together before, but you said it.
My medical thing where they said, yes, you can go to Canada was actually in an office on 8 Mile. So.
Great. All right.
Oh, it's a place?
Yeah, it's a road. It's a very long road though. So.
It's an 8 mile long road. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, bring it back to.
All right. Well, actually, we're almost out of time today, so I think maybe we should like wrap this up. And if anybody's stuck it out with us this long, then they're definitely our people. Yeah. And I'm gonna stop the recording now, and then we can do this again sometime.
Yeah,
if it works.
That was a journey.
That was good.
Yeah.
Maybe.